Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day today. So today we're going to be doing my current everyday makeup routine. So I don't remember exactly how long it's been since I've done a video like this, but I do know since then I have changed up some of my everyday go-to products that I reach for all the time. And then I've also changed up my application technique just a little bit, just here and there. So today I just wanted to share with y'all what my current favorites are because I've reviewed a whole lot of new makeup this year, and I just want to show y'all what my current routine is. So this is the look that we're gonna go for today. I hope that y'all like it, so let's jump right into it and let's get started. Okay, so I already have my eye makeup done. I don't do my eye makeup on camera because I just feel like that is not my ministry. I don't think that I'm good with eye tutorials, so I already have that done. But I did want to point out that I do already have my mascara on my lower lashes as well, because I like to put that on before I do my base makeup so that by the time I put my concealer on, the mascara has already set and dried down and it won't transfer and smudge onto my under eye area. So I just wanted to point that out. So we're going to jump into the complexion, and I'm starting off with the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm. No, this is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. This is the universal shade. So I use this as a primer underneath my liquid foundations, and because I have oily skin, I'm just gonna kind of concentrate this in the T-zone area. So I can't really say if this works well on drier skin types, but it's meant for an oily skin type, so it does a really good job at helping you control oils during the day. And whatever liquid foundation I've ever paired this with, it seems to enhance the look of the foundation. It just looks better. I can't really explain it, but it's just an enhanced version of my liquid foundation. So I like to put this, a thin layer, on the T-zone area. And then while that's working into the skin, I'm going to go in and color correct in a couple of areas of the face. Now, this is the Bobbi Brown Skin Correcting Stick in the shade Deep Bisque. I'm going to have all of the stuff that I'm using listed in the description box. So I do have another color corrector, the REM Concealer, which the shade that I use in that, I use it as a color corrector. I do think that that concealer wears a little bit better than this one, but I'm using this for today, so I'm also color correcting around the mouth. I'm using this one for today because I picked this one up a few weeks ago just because the REM concealer was still packed away from a trip that I just went on, and since then I've just been using this Bobbi Brown corrector since then. So it definitely wears very nicely. It wears to the point where, I'm comfortable with wearing this all day. This was actually my go-to color corrector before I tried the REM one, but I do like the color of this one better. So the REM one is a lot more peachy orangey, where this one has much more of a pink tone to it. So this one, like I said, it does definitely wear very nicely, but I do think the REM one wears a little bit better. But lately this has just been my go-to. I've been picking this one up every day. I guess just because I got nostalgic when I picked it up when my REM one was still packed away. So again, I'm just showing you guys, what I'm using currently. So we know that that changes quite often with, trying new products all the time. So I'm just blending this out right in the areas where I feel like I need color correction. And I often forget that I'm wearing makeup during the day. So I already know that the color corrector and the foundation around my mouth is going to get a little distorted, but I do notice that the foundation on the bottom half of my face, it does look better when I go in and color correct first. So next we're going to go in with foundation. So there have been a lot of foundations that have come out this year, and I think I've reviewed maybe 99% of them. And I think I liked all the foundations that I reviewed this year. So there's a ton of foundations that I have that I bought within the past 12 months or so that I love. But lately I have been picking up this one nonstop. This is the Makeup Forever HD Skin, and I wear the shade 3R58. This is called Cool Hazelnut. I don't know, this one is just my favorite right now. There's definitely a bunch of other ones that I like, but I just can't stop picking this one up. So one of the biggest changes that I've made in my makeup routine is that I've noticed I'm applying less foundation. So I used to go in with pretty much a full pump on each side of the face. Lately I've been going in with about this amount. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna concentrate it on the cheek area. I've always done that because this is always the area where I want the most coverage. And I'm just going to take this, and once I get the cheek area nice and covered, I'm just going to blend it out on the rest of the face. So that was about maybe like a half a pump of foundation. And this is one of those buildable foundations where I can go in and put a little bit more on in certain areas to build it up. But I've just been kind of stopping right here because I feel like I'm getting pretty good coverage right there. And I've just been, you know, liking, I guess, the lighter coverage these days. So I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And my skin is actually in pretty good shape right now. Not really breaking out anywhere, so that helps too, you know, with needing less product. I actually might have to go in with a little bit more foundation over here because to me it just doesn't look like I have as much on over here as I do over here. So I'm just gonna put a little tiny bit more over here, just to ever so slightly build up my coverage. I just want my face to be even on both sides. So I'm still using the same under eye concealer that I've been using since it came out. This is the Anastasia Magic Touch Concealer, and I'm in the shade 15. So because I've already color corrected, I don't need a ton of this on my under eye, but I am going to put a good amount on there just to give myself some extra coverage and some brightness. But just remember that the color corrector did already give me a little bit of coverage. So I'm going to concentrate this like right in the inner parts of the under eye. I also like to put this on the corners of my mouth because I do have like some subtle dark spots there, and then also on the chin and the forehead just to balance out the center of the face. So I like to take my residual foundation that's on the brush that I use to blend out the concealer everywhere except for the under eye. I feel like this just helps the concealer and the foundation to blend into each other a little bit better. And then I don't like to put concealer right on the center of my nose. Instead, I like to just take what's already on the brush and then just drag it down a little bit. I mean, maybe that's not making a difference, but that's pretty much what I do. And then I like to switch to another brush. This is the Rare Beauty foundation brush, and I like to use this just because it's a little more dense than that foundation brush I was just using. And I like to use this to blend out on the sides of the mouth and under the eye. So for a minute I was using the Rare Beauty concealer brush to blend out my concealer because it's smaller and it allows you to be more detailed, but I kind of quickly went back to this one just because it blends out faster because the brush head is bigger. So I really don't have a change with the way that I do my under eye concealer. Like, I like to pat it in and try to keep it concentrated on the inner part of the under eye area, and I try my best to avoid those lines that I have under the eye. But you know, it's kind of inevitable that I might get some makeup in there, but I do try to avoid like my immediate under eye area. And then before I drag it out to like clean up my concealer, I'll do the other eye first, just so that I'm not picking up too much eyeshadow and getting it on the under eye area. So now I'm going to take what's left and kind of like drag it out. And I'm not really looking for coverage over here. I'm usually just doing this to help kind of like clean up the eyeshadow just a little bit. But I don't like the sharp lines of eyeshadow. I just feel like that doesn't look right on me for some reason. So I like it to look kind of like diffused. So I want to clean it up, but not too much, if that makes sense. And then I'm also going to pat this concealer like on the sides of the nose. I am going to bronze in this area a little bit, but I feel like bringing it to the side of the nose will just help with the dimension like in the center of the face. So I'm just patting back over the under eye area really quickly just to make sure everything is nice and flat. And then I'm going to go right in with my setting powder. So I'm using the same one that y'all have seen a million times. This is the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. This one is the shade Pillowy. And I do pick up less powder too. I feel like that helps with preventing creasing. So I don't know if you can like see that on camera, but I'm picking up less powder to set the under eye. And then I'm going to pick up some more of the powder on another brush to also set the rest of the face. So this is the powder that I use every day to set my makeup. However, this is the powder that I carry with me in my purse. This is the Fenty Beauty Invisimatte blotting powder. It's a white powder, but it doesn't leave like any type of flashback or anything. This is really good for touching up your makeup on the go because it will instantly mattify and it'll really help to control oil. So this is the one that I carry in my purse, but I like to set my makeup with this one when it's like freshly applied. And I think the last time I did like a current makeup routine, I was using the same blush. I can't recall, but this is the e.l.f. blush palette in dark. So it comes in light and dark. This is like one of my original blush palettes. So I like using this color here because I like using like orangey and coral type colors for my blushes. And I like to just plop it kind of like right behind the apples of my cheek, I guess. And back in the day, I used to do my bronzer first and then my blush. But now I do the blush first so that when I put my bronzer on, it prevents me from like dragging the bronzer down like way too far on my cheek. And then speaking of bronzer, now between these two, I really don't have a current favorite. Like I go back and forth between these two. So this one, this is the Saie Beauty Sun Melt Bronzer. This is in the shade Deep Bronze. And I feel like when you look at this in the pan, you might think it's a little too dark for me, but it blends out really well. And then this one is the Pacifica Sundreams bronzer in the shade Glow. So as you can see, the Pacifica one is a bit more red than this one, but I love both of these, so I go like back and forth between them. And I think for today, the last time I did my makeup, I wore Pacifica, so I'm just gonna switch off and use the Saie Beauty one for today. So I like to pick up a good amount of this on the brush because I know I've said this a million times about the Saie Beauty bronzer. It really doesn't matter like how much you pick up because it just blends right into the skin. Like you can sit here all day and just pack this bronzer on and it's just gonna eventually just blend out really nicely. So I like to pick up a good amount of this. And even if you still, you know, put too much on, you can go back and correct that with some foundation. So I like to pick up a good amount of this and just keep blending until I feel like it's, you know, blended out to my liking. And then I'm going to take what's left on the brush and I like to hit my jawline. And then I'm picking some more up on a smaller brush because I also like to put some of this on the nose to further give like the center of my face some dimension. And this looks like a lot, but I will go back and clean it up. So again, I'm going back to my foundation brush and I'm just going to blend right where that line is where the bronzer and the foundation are meeting each other, so that'll just help it to look more blended in this area. And then lately I've been using my residual concealer instead of my residual foundation to blend out the bronzer on the nose, just so that it's not quite as, I guess, not quite as dark as the forehead area, and I still get a little bit of like brightness in the center of my face. So back in the day, I used to love highlighter. I used to wear it all the time, and for whatever reason, I just got away from it. But lately, I've been picking up highlighter again. So this is the MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish. This one is the shade Double Gleam. So if you've been with my channel from the very beginning, you will remember that I used to swear by this highlighter. So I am going to put some on today. Like, I don't do highlighter like every single time that I do my makeup, but I have been doing it here and there. So I like to apply this with a little eyeshadow brush so that I'm not picking up a whole lot, and I'll just put some like right on the very high points of my cheek. And it's like subtle, so you might not be able to like, no, I think you can make that out on camera. And then I'll also put some on the arch of my brow. I used to do this all the time, but eventually I just kind of stopped doing it. So like over here, I feel like it just needs to be blended out just a little bit more. So I'm gonna go back into that foundation brush and just pat right over it. I'm just picking up my eyeshadow brush that I blended with, and I'll do the same thing with the arch of the brow. And next I'm going to finish everything off with, well, almost, I'm going to finish everything off with a setting spray. So lately I've been using the Milk Hydro Grip and Set Refreshing Spray. So I got a mini of this just to try it out, and I really like it. So if you're going to follow this routine and you're going to already have your mascara on, when you do your setting spray, you just want to use something to try and like cover up the mascara. So I'm just going to use like one of these palettes here to cover my eyes, and then I'm going to set the rest of my face. So I like to spray on a good amount of that, and then I'm picking up the foundation brush again, and then I'm just going to pat over everywhere just to kind of like push it into the skin. So the foundation brush now has a little bit of bronzer on it, a little bit of blush too, but I feel like it's minimal to the point where you'll be okay with using whatever you use for your foundation to like push that spray like into the face, and you're doing it like very lightly anyway. I'm gonna take a little bit more of my highlighter, and I'm gonna use this as an inner corner highlight. I don't do this all the time because sometimes I feel like I go overboard with it, and when I go back to edit my videos, to me the inner corner highlight just looks like too glaring. So sometimes I just skip that step altogether so that I'm not putting on too much. And now to finish everything off with the lips, my favorite lip combo, I'm pretty sure it's the same lip combo that I did in my last like makeup tutorial video, but I'm starting off with the Lawless Beauty Forget the Filler Definer Liner, and this one is in the shade Coco. So I'm just gonna sharpen this really quickly, and I'm just gonna line my lips with this. And then after I get the liner applied, I like to blot my lips together to try and smear it out. And then I'm going to finish everything off with this NYX This Is Milky gloss. This one is in the shade Choco Latte Shake. So this is like my go-to lip gloss for right now. And then I'm going to blot my lips together again just to kind of like fuse those two colors together. Okay guys, and here is the finished look for today. So I hope that y'all enjoyed the video and that you found it helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.